high school football season. Some impressive non-conference wins.
Yeah.
Really, in the scheme of things, if you lost tonight, you're okay because you really just want to fine-tune. We had a lot of teams off tonight.
We did.
Now with week 0 going on, but obviously getting things going. We talked about our showcase game of the week, which was a fun one on paper. We knew Little Rock Christian was going to be the heavy favorites going into this ball game, and they did not disappoint. They handled their business.
Yeah, and I went and talked to Coach Koyu on Monday, and obviously they had their bye week last week coming off the game at Bologna, and one of the things that he really emphasized, and he and I talked about, is against Bologna, they turned that ball over twice in the red zone.
Down really early.
Within the first 5 minutes of the game. And he said to me, we cannot do that against Greenbrier, because Greenbrier is a well-coached team. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. They're going to be in the spots they're supposed to. And if we make mistakes, we are not going to win this game. Now, you saw this game in person. From the highlights, they looked like the Little Rock Christian that we are familiar with.
They did. They got off to a slow start, and that's a big credit to Greenbrier's defense because Little Rock Christian, the first 2 drives, got absolutely nothing. Tried to establish a run with Kendall Givens, got nothing from him. Tried to run some screen plays, and I got to tell you, Moorhart was everywhere today for Greenbrier. I think he's featured in about 4 highlights. There he is. Well, making a big tackle, then he's on offense. And before the game even started, I talked to a few Greenbrier assistants, and they had to hold some guys out on the offensive line tonight. They were dealing with injuries already, knew they were going to try to run the football, obviously, knew they were going to try to attack Little Rock Christian with maybe some bubble screens, something along those lines. But in the end, the better team won tonight. Christian continues their dominance over Greenbrier. But I thought Greenbrier played really well, especially early. But it is early in the season. It's non-conference, dealing with injuries. You got to protect yourself. So Greenbrier, they're going to be fine. They start conference play next week.
Yeah, and one of the things just to kind of cap off Little Rock Christian, because we know what they can do, we know what they bring. Credit to their defense. Coach Koyu said their defense kept them in the game against Bologna. And if they didn't get another fast start against Greenbrier, not the start they wanted to, credit to their defense for holding Greenbrier at bay, because we know that Greenbrier can put up points.
Right. Big win for Little Rock Christian. Now, you were in West Little Rock.
I was.
We talked about non-conference action. It's really the test to see where your team's at, way to evaluate. Tonascola, you beat 2 7A ball clubs.
I'm not sure there's anyone that schedules a tougher non-conference.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Benton. Maybe Benton. But I'll say this. Tonascola, you scheduled 2 7A teams. You beat them both. Take on Camden, Fairview
tonight. Out of the 5A.
And you win a very tight ball game. You got to see it. Good win.
Really, I mean, really quality win, and I thought the improvement level, because I saw them the first week, the improvement level that I saw from Robinson from week 1 to now was huge, and mostly in the quarterback play, but here, great defensive stuff. Robinson looked a little bit like Arkansas. You know, Chief always wants 3 takeaways on the defense. Robinson had 2 tonight.
You said pregame they were dealing with injuries too.
Yeah, and I was took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to get to that. We saw a lot of Buddy Gatson tonight, and Robinson so far through the season had been alternating quarterbacks, but JT Towers actually suffered turf toe in that opening win against Springdale, the first game of the season. So Coach Scully's in a boot right now, so Coach said, we're going to keep him out to conference play. We don't really need him right now. These games, they mean something, but they don't really mean a lot, so we're just going to protect him. They expect him back next week. So not only are you beating a 7A Rogers, not only are you beating a 5A Camden Fairview, you're doing it without one of your quarterbacks.
Well, let me tell you, they're going to need him as they get ready for conference play because, folks, I say it every week, there ain't no better than the 7-4A. It is a gauntlet. It is a gauntlet thinking about playing.
We're excited to watch.
Oh, my gosh. Robinson, Arkadelphia, Nashville, Bauxite, Haskell, Harmony Grove. I could go through them all. Fountain Lake. I keep going. But anyway, I digress. I apologize. 7-4A, going to be a lot of fun to watch. I do think it's a 2-horse race between Robinson and Arkadelphia. But, man, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I do. I have my thoughts on who's going to win that race. I'm going to keep them to myself until we get a little further down the season.
That will work.
I would love nothing more than to see another rematch.
It would be a lot of fun.
Probably not in the freezing rain this year, but I'd love to see it.
Definitely. Now, we talked about tough non-conference schedules. Folks, as you realize tonight, Benton falls to Cabot. They are now 0-3 on the season.
Shocking.
That's the best 0-3 ball club you're ever going to find. Having Arkadelphia last year.
I was just going to say, it reminds me completely of Arkadelphia because Benton beat the Badgers last year as part of that 0-4 start.
Right.
And then Arkadelphia ran the table. So I know Coach Harris really not happy with an 0-3 record, but again, look at it. 7A Bryant, who looks phenomenal, and I assume that we are going to talk about their game against Fayetteville coming up a little bit later. Then Arkadelphia, who Coach Harris told me they are just as talented as any school in the state. They just have less kids. And then Cabot tonight, which Cabot looks fantastic.
They look good throwing the ball.
Completely different under the new system.
Well, in Benton, too, you play a state champion, and now you play a Cabot team who's really starting to find themselves. Tyler G., who has an offer from UCA right now. Never in my wildest dreams did I think a Cabot quarterback would get an offer to play quarterback at a Division I level to throw the ball, but he does. He's got a UCA offer right now, and DeCairo Rudolph has immersed himself as a playmaker, folks.
I mean, these highlights, you would never think, if you didn't know, you would think that these kids have been running this offense for their entire careers. This doesn't look like a first-year install.
I call it the Reed offense, the R-E-E-D. Coach Reed, I mean, I just think of the folks I grew up with in Cabot going to games, and don't get me wrong, they won conference championships and they won state championships, and I don't think they'll ever be a better football team in my eyes, just from a kid's perspective, than that 2000 Cabot team who just 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But man, this is something to see in Lonoke County.
Exciting times
and it looks like an air raid. And Cabot off to a 3-0 start. Big wins, obviously, over Pine Bluff, El Dorado, and Benton tonight. So they're going to be a test in the 7A Central, but we know who the cream of the crop is in the 7A Central.
Well, there's no question
and
about
my
that.
Lord.
Statement. Absolute
Buck.
statement.
Buck. You went up to Fayetteville tonight. Folks, they smoked Fayetteville tonight. It wasn't even a ball game. This thing was over at the end of the first half, and we talked about it. We even interviewed Coach James because we knew this wasn't our showcase game of the week.
But it's big enough we got to go talk to
It's
him,
out of our market. We can't make it our showcase game because
we would have if we could have.
My goodness, the defense looks amazing. And credit to Casey Dick, because I think Fayetteville's going to be fine. They're going to do big things. But Buck James has developed a monster at Bryant. And you want to talk about monsters, can you please talk about your guy here?
I don't want to talk about. I want none of that. Like, just a full-grown man running out there. It's why Arkansas State wants it. But I had a thought as you're talking about this. You said the game was over the first quarter. It's 21-0. The difference, and last year's Bryant team was so good. The difference between last year and this year, it reminds me of that North Little Rock game, that huge clash up here where Bryant jumped out to the lead and then North Little Rock came back on him. Bryant jumps out to a big lead. I don't know if Fayetteville's as good as North Little Rock, but they didn't let up on him. And that's the difference between really, really good teams and just great teams, where they will step on your throat. They're not going to let you back into it. And they're going to make a statement win, which is exactly what Bryant did tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if they went undefeated. I mean, I'm saying it right now.
It'll be fun to see Bryant go head-to-head, because I know for years now we've known about the 7A West, and I know what Gus Malzahn did at Springdale, and I understand that for the better part of 10 years it has just been a seesaw between Bentonville, Fayetteville. Harbor's been in there every now and then. The Central is the best conference, and it's not even close. Bryant, I think, right now looks like a perennial state championship contender.
They do.
North Little Rock's played a lot of teams out of state. They lost to Whitehaven. Really haven't had a really good chance to look at North Little Rock yet, but they're playing out-of-state competition. Cabot is 3-0. Catholic looks really good. Central is undefeated. Conway went down to El Dorado and beat El Dorado, beat Jonesboro. Who you want to win the 7A Central?
I think at the end of the day it's going to be Bryant. But it's going to be fun to watch. Yeah. It's the thing that's crazy about the Hornets, and you hear with college teams a lot, is this team's built to reload. They're not rebuilding because they lost a ton of talent off of last year's team, but they look exactly the same, if not better. Craziness.
If we hadn't covered Ahmad Adams through the years, I would ask for his birth certificate because he is an absolute beast. I know he's of age. I'm just kidding, folks. But man,
he and what's his face out at Hazen must be the two biggest high school kids I've ever seen. Blaine Toll. Y'all, I don't know what y'all feeding out there, but dang.
Well, here's the good news. Non-conference, it's a wrap. Conference season starting next week. Week 3 of the Blitz is a wrap. It's going to be a lot of fun. 7-4A, 7A Central, 7A West. There's just so many races that are going to get set to start, and it is going to be a lot of fun.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Scott voice. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Guys, have a great night. Much more tomorrow on Hog Zone. Dorian's heading to Fayetteville. I'll be here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see if the Hogs can go 3-1. Looks good.
Have a good night, y'all.